Hello everyone, we are F Society, and we have returned from our long slumber to bring you new content. Yay! You may have forgotten about F Society, but F Society has not forgotten about you. It's gonna be good.
Oh man, that was exhausting. I went through a lot of effort to hide my identity there, but I don't think anyone's gonna recognize me. Yeah, they're gonna think it's F Society out of my channel. Whew, that was cool. We gained some free publicity. Man. Whew. Wait, I stopped the recording, right? Oh shit.
I recently made a video covering great TV shows I've seen, but one I didn't go into much was Mr. Robot. That's mostly because I've already made 3 videos about it, but people still wanted to see more, so I rewatched the entire series on Blu-ray, and I put together a list of my top 20 favorite episodes of the show. Will I mention Mr. Robot in my Great TV Shows Part 2? Will I even make a Part 2? Maybe. So this Mr. Robot episode ranking is based mostly on my personal opinion, focusing on the episodes I think are the most well-made and effective. I also considered which episodes are standouts amongst critics and also the fan base. But again, this is my personal list. So with that in mind, let's get into it. Number 20, Episode 3.2, Legacy.so. One of the most important characters in Mr. Robot is of course Tyrell Wellick, and this early Season 3 episode basically explains where he's been for the entirety of Season 2. This episode also features a standout performance from Bobby Cannavale as Irving, a Dark Army operative. It's also revealed that FBI agent Santiago works for the Dark Army, further reinforcing how the antagonist hacker group of the show has basically infiltrated every level of government and power. We also get a memorable cameo from Wallace Shawn, which provides some insight into the Dark Army's indoctrination methods.
Did you kill Sharon Knowles?
What does this have to do with...
Did you kill Sharon Knowles?
No.
Do you love your wife?
What is this?
Do you love your wife?
Of course I do!
Have you slept with anyone else since you've been married? Don't look away. Look at me.
Number 19, Episode 2.3, Logic Bomb.hc. Season 2 of Mr. Robot is often underrated. In my opinion, it contains some of the strongest episodes of the entire series, and this is one of them. This episode is written by Kyle Bradstreet, a name I haven't really mentioned in the rest of my Mr. Robot videos. One of the strongest parts is the opening, where Elliot hacks into the FBI.
Step 2. Build malware and prepare an attack. At my fingertips, the 0 days wrapped in code like a Christmas present then becomes an exploit. The programmatic expression of my will. I live for this shit.
The process is interesting to watch and a great example of Mr. Robot's authentic and realistic hacking. At the same time, this episode expands the storyline through Agent Dom DePiro and her going to China to visit Minister Zhang and discuss the Dark Army.
There is another subject to discuss. We understand. It is a delicate subject.
The Dark Army? We'd like to review all intelligence you have on them.
Number 18, Episode 3.7, Don't Delete Me.ko. This chapter focuses on the aftermath of Stage 2 and the emotional toll it takes on Elliot. At this point, Elliot feels like he has completely failed. He's also feeling hopeless in his battle with Mr. Robot. He has done everything he can to keep Mr. Robot at bay and stop his Stage 2 plan, but nothing has worked. And so he just feels like his efforts have been futile up to this point. When it seems like all hope is lost, the episode suddenly takes a shift, and it becomes about Elliot having a day with Trenton's brother, Mohammed, and them going to see a re-release of Back to the Future 2 on the same day that Marty traveled forwards in time in the movie. Whether Mohammed is really there or not isn't really the point. His presence does feel slightly surreal, especially the fact that he would follow Elliot across the city even though he didn't understand the subway system at all. And also his parents would just move to Connecticut without him. Instead, he sort of works as a reflection of Elliot's younger self. That's what makes them watching Back to the Future 2 meaningful. A movie Elliot would have watched as a kid, probably on video. Elliot might have been too young to see Back to the Future 2 in the theaters when it came out. And that shift from complete hopelessness to some semblance of hope is what makes this episode ultimately one of the most impactful of the entire show. Number 17, Episode 2.9, Python Part 1.p7z, and Episode 2.9, Python Part 2.p7z. I know I'm technically cheating by including 2 episodes, but it does feel appropriate to consider these one experience, since it is a 2-parter. This 2-part episode is confusing. It's has this sort of comfort food quality to it. Does that make sense? One of the standout moments is Angela's first extended meeting with White Rose. It's one of the most significant character exchanges in the series. Meanwhile, Elliot's storyline becomes increasingly surreal as he uses a lucid dreaming technique to follow around Mr. Robot without Mr. Robot realizing it, and learning information that leads him to Tyrell. Part 2 functions almost like a single location thriller, at least when it's focused on Elliot and Tyrell, inside a building overlooking the E-Corp Paper Records facility, which stores paper debt documents that would allow Evil Corp to effectively undo the 5/9 attacks and bring everything back to normal. This is where Stage 2 is fully revealed, which involves a plan to destroy this building and its records. Python Part 2 builds on the psychological instability of the first half, but now it becomes even more focused. The atmosphere is strengthened by strong musical choices, including Hall of Mirrors by the band Kraftwerk. Dom and Darlene's storyline sees a major shift, as Dom reveals that she knows a lot more about what's going on than she's been letting on. She explains her strategy as the Python approach, gradually tightening the pressure until the truth surfaces. This moment further illustrates how Dom is an intelligent and awesome character, and it's paired with a great visual sequence underscored by The Moth and the Flame by Ledoux Love Orchestra, as Darlene walks through the FBI office and sees the full scope of the investigation laid out in front of her. What makes this 2-parter just so deeply effective is how it puts you in Elliot's mental state. You start to lose track of what is real and what isn't. Elliot begins to doubt Tyrell's existence entirely. Even as Tyrell threatens to shoot him, he just doesn't know what's real and what isn't anymore.
He won't. He can't. He doesn't exist. I'm the only one that exists. It's time to finally take back control.
And after all the shit that has happened over the course of the show, can you really blame Elliot? Every season finale also includes a post-credit scene that is a long take, and this season, it stays in line with that tradition. Number 16, Exit, a turning point in the final stretch of Mr. Robot. This episode feels like a culmination of so many things that had been building up to that point in the story, and this episode also includes a sharp tonal shift. B.D. Wong delivers a standout performance here as White Rose. The final stretch of this series begins to lean heavily into this alternate world concept. While the following episode is also great and continues this storyline, I do feel this entry stands out just a little bit more because of the conclusion of White Rose's arc and that abrupt tonal shift that brings us into the new storyline. Number 15, Episode 3.6, Frederick and Tanya.chk. Mr. Robot is mainly centered on Elliot, but there are a handful of episodes where they focus on other characters. There are funny beats, many of which involve Leon, played by Joey Badass. They help balance out the darker tone of this chapter.
Damn. That's no way to treat a caddy.
Number 14, Episode 2.1, Colonel Panic.ksd, a chaotic, psychological, and darkly funny episode of Mr. Robot that fully leans into Elliot's unstable mental state. The episode opens with Romero explaining that the arcade is cursed. By the way, I visited that arcade in real life, and I visited the Ruby's place or whatever that they went by. I took a picture of that. Just wanted to say that. I know a lot of people go to Coney Island. Okay, that doesn't make me special. I'm just saying. From there, Elliot uses Adderall to get rid of Mr. Robot. And while the Adderall does succeed in getting rid of Mr. Robot, it sends Elliot into a drug-fueled state.
Even the dumb basketball game is enthralling. The ball goes into a hoop. Of course.
Dom Tapiro is also introduced more prominently in this episode. We see that even early on, she stands out as a highly intelligent and resourceful agent, often more capable than the people around her. One of the best moments of the episode is a extremely nihilistic speech about God, given by Elliot. Number 13, 401, Unauthorized. A strong and stylish opening to the final season of Mr. Robot that immediately sets the tone of what's to come. Right from the start, there's a sense that everything is closing in on Elliot and that the endgame is finally in motion. One of the central conflicts that begins to boil over is the rivalry between Zhang / White Rose and Philip Price. White Rose pushes things too far, driving Price to a breaking point and setting up major consequences for the rest of the season.
And then everything I said to her, you are psychotic!
You're certainly not mincing words today, are you?
It's all psychotic.
There are also some standout sequences, including Mr. Robot and Elliot infiltrating a lawyer connected to the Dark Army at Grand Central Station. It's a tense and well-executed scene that highlights the show's mix of espionage and psychological storytelling. Another memorable moment is Elliot being dragged away by suited men, while Don't Worry, Be Happy plays in the background. Visually, this episode is great as well, with especially beautiful opening credits, and of course, the ending, which is disorienting and crazy, with Elliot being killed and then brought back to life.
Welcome back, Mr. Alderson.
Number 12, Shutdown, -R. A powerful, high-impact episode of Mr. Robot that does an excellent job paying off long-running storylines. It marks the moment where Elliot and Mr. Robot start working with each other again to defeat their common enemy, which is White Rose. This brings us back to that barn setting from the standalone Tyrell episode, where Dom, Darlene, and Elliot are being held prisoner. Then Irving brutally kills Santiago. That's like a shocking scene. And, you know, that completely shifts the storylines, so now Dom is the Dark Army operative in the FBI. It builds to the resolution of Elliot ultimately undoing the hack, and it's all underscored by that phenomenal M83 music. Gives like a euphoric sense to that whole moment of Elliot undoing the hack. Number 11, episode 1.7, White Rose, .m4v. This episode actually does a lot of heavy lifting and lays a lot of groundwork for many things that happen later on in the show. Of course, Elliot meets White Rose for the first time, and this episode also establishes White Rose's obsession with time. When Elliot asks what the overall plan is, like, why are you doing this, all White Rose does is just smile, and you hear her alarm go off, and she closes the door.
Why are you working with us?
I love watching these season 1 episodes because things were just so different and quaint back then. I mean, Elliot still worked it all safe. Still, this episode marks Elliot's first real interaction with the Dark Army, and then there are some pretty major reveals, like Darlene actually being Elliot's sister, and Mr. Robot being not what he appears. Alright, we're about halfway through this list. Let's keep going. Hang in there, like the cat poster in Mr. Robot. Hang in there, guys. We're halfway through. Number 10, episode 2.5, Handshake.sme. The story jumps around between multiple subplots, including Elliot exposing Ray's website. Leon is revealed to be working with the Dark Army, but the most significant reveal comes at the very end of the episode. We discover that for the entirety of season 2, Elliot has actually been in prison. For a show that's often compared to Fight Club with its twists, this one felt pretty unique. unless it's referencing some show or movie that I haven't seen. The execution is particularly great, with the camera panning along with Elliot's perspective as we see things shift into the reality that is the prison setting. Details like Elliot's mom actually being a prison guard is a nice touch. Some might think I have this episode rated too high, but I will admit I am a Season 2 fanboy.
I'd like it if we could trust each other again. Let's shake on it.
Number 9. 409, Conflict. One of the most satisfying episodes of the entire show. The destruction of the Deus Group and their finances ultimately means the end of White Rose's Congo project and her machine. It's a satisfying reversal to see the antagonist of the show be beaten so badly by the hero, and after so long and so much confusion and struggle throughout the show. It was very satisfying. There's a strong contrast throughout the episode between Zhang losing control and Philip Price enjoying their downfall. Their dynamic creates a tense but entertaining atmosphere.
It's bad management. When your best employees either walk off the job or blow their brains out.
The episode uses long takes effectively, like the shot going through the Deus Group party, which of course includes Donald Trump. Darlene's hacking sequence into the Deus Group is another highlight, especially as she manages to broadcast one final F-Society message, symbolizing the group's resurgence after being pushed down for so long. Elliot's confrontation with Zhang over the phone is another key moment. Elliot and Zhang get one look at each other before Zhang is brought into their car. And I think this is an extremely effective moment, especially when you consider that Elliot has never actually seen Zhang or met Zhang in person. They've only met White Rose. It may not be as psychological, but I still feel this is a really great episode. Number 8, episode 3.4, Runtime Error, .R00. A very technically impressive episode. This is the famous one-take episode of the show. Elliot has to piece together what happened over the weekend when he was controlled by Mr. Robot. At the same time, he is being fired by E-Corp and has to avoid security, while also trying to stop the Dark Army's plan somehow. After he's escorted out of the building, a riot breaks out, and then we follow Angela trying to infiltrate E-Corp for the Dark Army. This episode creates a constant sense of pressure and escalation. It isn't all style over substance. It does push the storyline forward. Darlene reveals to Elliot that she's been working with the FBI, and he also starts to suspect that Angela might be working against him. The long take style is incredibly well done, maintaining the illusion that this is happening in real time. Number 7, Hello, Elliot. The series finale of Mr. Robot is actually a rare example of a modern-day show sticking its landing. Unlike many contemporary finales that feel rushed, this one delivers an emotional and thoughtful finale that is one of the best episodes of the entire show. It continues the alternate reality storyline introduced earlier, but gradually reveals its true nature. This episode is filled with striking and surreal imagery, including references to 2001: A Space Odyssey, and a bizarre moment of Christian Slater's head being imposed on a child's body. It concludes with a heartfelt moment between Elliot and Darlene. As a conclusion, it feels earned, thoughtful, and emotionally complete, even though it was hard to say goodbye. Number 6, episode 2.8, Hidden Process.axx. It reflects the more surreal tone of Season 2 of Mr. Robot. In this episode, we see the impact of 5/9 and the resulting inflation, ultimately showing how E-Corp manages to recover while ordinary people are the ones who suffer. This episode also focuses on Darlene and Cisco as they start to deteriorate mentally as well after all the shit that they've been through that season. We intercut to Elliot and Angela on the subway, and this moment actually has a lot of significance because this is like Elliot and Angela's last time being with each other before Angela gets indoctrinated. She becomes this controlled puppet of White Rose. The train scene really is their last face-to-face interaction before Angela kind of goes off the deep end. This all culminates to one of my favorite long takes of the entire show, where the camera remains completely static, and yet there is so much tension. Number 5, 405, Method Not Allowed. One of the most unique episodes of the entire series. This is the completely dialogue-free episode of Mr. Robot. Definitely one of the strongest episodes in terms of cinematography. Of course, shout out to Todd Campbell. No pun intended, but there really isn't much to say about this episode. It's just really well done. It proves how strong this show is, even when it removes one of its core storytelling tools entirely. Number 4, Episode 1.5, Brave Traveler.asf. It focuses on Elliot trying to release Vera from prison, otherwise he will have his men kill Shayla. This episode leans into the intelligent and methodical writing that the show is known for, as Elliot and Darlene carefully work to infiltrate the prison security system. Elliot Villar as Vera is of course a standout. Vera is a very unstable character, and you never know what he's going to do next. And of course the episode builds to a devastating reveal that Shayla has been with Elliot the whole time, dead in the trunk of the car.
Shayla! Where is she?
Keys, yo. Told you you get her back, bro. You just didn't realize she was with you the whole time.
Number 3, Episode 2.4, MasterSlave.aes. This is one of the most bizarre episodes for sure, with its first little portion being the most iconic. The beginning segment focuses on Elliot trapped in a surreal fever dream where he is placed inside an 80s-style sitcom, complete with a corny opening reminiscent of shows like Full House and Family Matters. I found this episode hilarious. This world is created by Mr. Robot to shield Elliot from the beating he is receiving in real life. We even see flashes of that violence, like on Darlene's Game Boy.
Eyes up, son.
Pieces of Elliot's childhood surface, such as Elliot's father having cancer, and Elliot's mother being abusive toward Darlene.
Ow! You're burning me! So what if he hears?
Christian Slater especially does a great job at acting like he's in one of those sitcoms. He really hams it up, but in the best possible way. After this sequence, it transitions back into being a normal episode. We get Angela's hack on the FBI, which has another really impressive long take. We also see an important flashback where young Elliot names the store Mr. Robot. Number 2, Proxy Authentication Required. The return of Vera is what makes this episode work. I'll admit, whether you find episodes like this or Brave Traveler compelling rely on whether you find the character of Vera compelling. He isn't a hacker, he isn't as polished or as intelligent as many of the other antagonists, and that's sort of the point of his character. He sort of breaks the mold of the show. It's an emotionally heavy episode, and it fully leans into that. When I rewatched this episode, I busted out the old projector. It's a very cinematic experience. It includes a 5-act structure, and Mac Quayle with the score, instead of doing electronic music like he usually does, he composed an entirely orchestral score. The acting across the board is phenomenal. Elliot Villar, Rami Malek. I really feel it should have gotten more Emmy consideration, and it remains one of the most significant episodes, not just of this series, but of television in recent memory.
How does this voodoo shit work exactly? Do we say Mr. Robot 3 times in the mirror? Rub a lamp, you roll your eyes back, play Bob Marley, light some candles.
What do you want from him?
All I want to do is talk to him.
How about you let her go and then we'll talk?
And my number 1 favorite episode of Mr. Robot is episode 3.5, Kill Process.inc. This episode is my personal favorite of the entire series. This one episode contains everything I love about the show. Some of my other top 10 episodes lean into one specific aspect. Kill Process has it all. It combines hacking, psychological elements, pulse-pounding music, action, and major twists in a way that feels perfectly balanced. Rami Malek delivers an incredibly intense performance throughout, and the constant shift between Elliot and Mr. Robot heightens the sense of instability and conflict within his mind.
Is Mr. Robot gaining control, or am I losing control? If he has the power to switch, does that mean I do too? Is this a matter of who wants to win the most? Yeah, I agree. This is fucking confusing.
The moment where he looks down and realizes he's wearing Mr. Robot's jacket is chilling.
Names are Fatty, Fatina, and Georgie. Georgie was named after my aunt. Lovely woman, fat fingers though.
What the fuck is going on?
Kill Process is an episode that doesn't compromise. It delivers everything you want out of this show.
Angela, whatever White Rose told you is a lie. She's a fucking terrorist, and if you let this happen...
And we're going to look back and see that these consequences were necessary.
People are going to die!
No, they're going to be fine! Including your father and my mother.
And that's it. We made it. Whew. Thanks for watching. Seriously. And if you made it and, I don't know, you haven't watched Mr. Robot, check it out. If you haven't watched it recently, check it out. Leave your comments about what are some of your favorite episodes. I'm sure some Mr. Robot fans have pretty strong opinions. See you later. Ho 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 ho. Ho ho ho. Thanks for watching. Ho ho ho.